Audio Jungle. Hello and welcome to another edition of Mexico News Network. Thank you for joining us. I am your host, Elisa Carballo, and we have excellent information for you coming right up ahead. However, before we do, let me remind you to stay tuned and logged on for information 24/7 on our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com. Also, follow us on social networks on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, on Mexico News Network. Now let's start with today's information. Mexico is an excellent land for investments. The economic stability that the country has reached throughout the past few years has taken several internationally well-known enterprises to bet on the results they may obtain in a short term. This country's trade openness has performed a crucial role in favor of the population, who is directly benefited by the huge amount of employments generated. Simultaneously, the great need of qualified people to perform several functions has caused a significant evolution in the education sector. Today, the nation boasts mostly young human workforce with a different point of view about the demands of this new economy, which has caused the country to turn into an important manufacturer of high-tech products. During the past few years, a free trade agreements network has been signed, which has allowed the Mexican market to turn into both the access to 45 nations and also a platform to reach 2/3 of the gross world domestic product. On the other hand, several processes were successfully optimized and simplified, which the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development has turned Mexico into Latin America's greatest exporter. President Enrique Peña Nieto's government has been promoting important reforms in order to boost the nation's economic development, which has allowed a considerable improvement in different sectors by allocating substantial amounts to the shortening of distances and increasing the flow of information. A token of this is the $100 billion investment allocated to the Transport and Communications Infrastructure Program 2013-2018. Foreign trade openness has translated into all kinds of benefits. Competition is higher every single day, and the needs of a society that keeps growing in large numbers has turned Mexico into the best option, also when it comes to terms of industry. Proof of this is the AlixPartners Manufacturing Cost Index, which considers Mexico's costs in manufacturing and assembly of parts more competitive than those in China and the US. Mexico has always stood out for its high-quality service, recognized by the millions of tourists who indulge in its landscapes, learn from its traditions, surprise themselves with its culture, and pamper their palates with its gastronomy. However, today, Mexico is much more than a mere tourist destination. Huge enterprises feel confident, development is in sight, and a change is a reality. Now, an economic relationship between Mexico and the UK has bright future ahead of it. Art, music, gastronomy. The dual year Mexico-UK consists of a great celebration where both nations will share the best of each other's talent, exchange goods and their products. However, behind this relationship lays a long history of economic and commercial success. And coming up, some contundent facts that support this. Number one, according to the Ministry of Economy, UK is the 6th largest investor in Mexico, only behind the US, Netherlands, Spain, Canada, and Belgium. Number two, from 2000 to 2014, British companies have invested almost $9.5 billion in Mexico. Next, trade between the two countries is no less important, as it adds to $5 billion profit a year. Now in Mexico, which is a nation that gave the world tequila and mezcal, the market demand for spirits and liquors is high and are very well accepted. It's no surprise there that the main product is imported from the UK is whiskey. Each year, Mexico buys $102.4 million of this exclusive beverage. And crawling up to the second place in imports from the UK, we face the automotive and aircraft engines components for assembly plants located in the north of Mexico. And once those engines are manufactured and processed in Mexico, placed in automobiles and aircraft, the finished product, then being cars and planes, are the second product that Mexico exports to the UK. In the year 2014, these sales summed up to a total of $64 million. The number one export from Mexico to the UK belonged to the mining industry, generating a total of $227 million in 2014 in profits from the sale of gold, silver, and copper. Under such premise, this year 2015 cultural exchange, trade, and education can open doors to new projects between Mexico and the UK. Now for more than tequila or mezcal, agave products are definitely on the rise. But before we go into any further detail, let me tell you a little bit about this wonderful plant. Agave or maguey is a perennial plant. So far, there are over 300 species known, and approximately 70% of them are originally from Mexico, spreading across the Pacific coast of Mexico and reaching the Yucatan Peninsula. It is a generous and bountiful plant that has given Mexico and the world the gift of tequila and mezcal. However, today, agave also offers other products that are thriving into current markets. Tequila is a flavorful representation of Mexico, of its culture and traditions. It is Mexico's #1 drink. It is a beverage distilled from agave, and its production dates back to ancestral times when the beverage was elaborated in an artisanal way. Today, tequila is industrially produced. During the year 2013, approximately 172 million liters were exported. According to the Tequila Regulatory Council, tequila is a trademark of Mexico, popular all over the world, and has opened up the way for another agave-derived product called mezcal. Making its way into international markets, mezcal is gaining popular demand all over the world and is becoming the second most popular drink in Mexico. Mezcal can be distilled from different varieties of agave. However, given the designation of origin, it can only be produced in some states of Mexico. These are Durango, San Luis Potosí, Guerrero, Zacatecas, and Oaxaca. This last one being the most popular state to produce mezcal. Something very interesting and unique about mezcal is that some brands include a little surprise inside the bottle, an agave worm. Mezcal is becoming a sought-out drink all over the world, and its production has increased to 150% compared to the year 2012, from which 65% is exported. This represents 740,000 liters sent out to several countries, including the US, Canada, Guatemala, UK, Spain, and Japan, according to the Mexican Board for Mezcal Quality Control. Now, agave products are thriving. This is a very, very particular market niche that seeks different and organic options for human consumption, opening up a new market for the trading of added value products such as syrup, nectar, and agave-derived fructans or inulin. The agave syrup is mainly used as an organic sugar substitute, and the inulin is a soluble form of fiber that is beneficial to the digestive system, both products exported to countries in Europe, Asia, and the US. Mieles Campos Azules, an organic agave foodstuff producer in the Mexican state of Jalisco, has found in this market niche a good opportunity to invest in. The company has developed in just 5 years, producing mainly agave syrup and agave-derived fructans, exporting 90% of their production overseas. The expectations for this market are promising, given that the growing demand and the few companies producing 100% organic agave products. In other news, León and Montejo, the traditional beers from Yucatan, return home. In the year 2002, the people from the Yucatan state lived what could be considered a real tragedy. After 116 years, Cervecería Yucateca closed its doors, which is one of Mexico's largest breweries that produce two of the flagship drinks in the peninsula, León and Montejo. The company began as Gran Cervecería de Yucatán in the year 1886. At the time, it used to offer beers in barrels. Back in those days, it was considered as a balm and cooling beverage for locals to cope with the city of Mérida's high temperatures and warm, sunny days. By 1900, the company launched its very first major product, a dark beer called León. And in 1960, the company launched a blonde lager called Montejo. Both beverages had a wide acceptance among the Yucatecan public. Therefore, in 1979, Grupo Modelo acquired the company. Keep in mind, though, that Grupo Modelo is one of the largest brewers in the world and the creating company of Corona, which is the best-selling Mexican beer sold in over 180 countries across the world. However, the nearly 100 years of tradition sadly had very little imports. Allegedly stating that the company had strong problems with suppliers, Grupo Modelo decided to move the production plant of León and Montejo to another brewery plant in Tuxtepec, Oaxaca. So time went on until the year 2002, the Yucatan plant closed its doors. Until 2015. Grupo Modelo, which is today owned by Dutch corporate Anheuser-Busch, announced a nearly $146 million investment in order to open it in Junucma, Yucatan, its 8th production plant. This particular facility will produce the two flagship beers of the Yucatan Peninsula, which will be exported to the world from the port of Progreso in Yucatan also. Don't forget to follow us on social networks on Mexico News Networks on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Also, stay informed on our website on www.mexiconewsnetwork.com. We'll be right back after a few messages from our sponsors.
Audio Jungle.